message every time, right? That's no fun. We want to be able to actually type a new message in. So we're going to have to figure out what to do with forms in React. Now, as I hinted last night, the React docs has some really helpful stuff here. This is what you get when you first go to the docs. You get getting started over here under main concepts. There's a whole page about forms. Wouldn't you know it? Here's a link to this if you want some light reading. HTML form elements work a little bit differently from other DOM elements in React because form elements naturally keep some internal state. So forms keep track of the values that are in all their form controls, right? So there's already some state management going on in HTML. So most of the time, we're going to do something with JavaScript that interrupts the whole form submission process. So it's useful to us if we instead store all of that state inside our React component. React is where we want our state to live, not inside HTML's normal mechanisms for that. It just makes things simpler for us, even if it makes it slightly more complex to start up. So we shouldn't be using query select or any of that stuff. We're not going to touch the dang DOM. So in HTML, form elements such as input, etc., typically maintain their own state and update it based on user input. In React, mutable state, in other words, state that can be changed, is typically kept in the state property of components and only updated with set state. So we can combine the two by making React state be the single source of truth. Here's what we mean. So in our form, this input, that's the body, right? That's the body of the message. So let's give this some state. Let's put state in here. And we learned yesterday that we can actually set state outside of the constructor sometimes. So you don't say this.state then, you just say state. Just like this is this.handle submit, but you don't say this. So we'll just do it this way this time. So we'll set state, the initial state to body, empty string. And then we'll make that the source of truth for that input. By that, I mean on the input, we'll put value equals this.state.body. Sort of, yeah. So far what we've got is now I can't even type in there, because React is in charge of what's inside that text box, and React says it's an empty string. So what we need to do is make it so that state gets updated every time we change that text input. So if you follow the example that's in the React docs, you'll see they do that. They have a method called handleChange, takes an event, and it sets state with event.target.value. And then that gets called onChange on that input. So that's what we need to do. Let's make a new method. We'll call it handleChange. It will receive an event. And even though it's a React event, React puts a little wrapper around the actual DOM event. We still have things like prevent default and target. So inside handleChange, all we want to do is call this.setState. And we want to update body, right? This.state.body is what we want to change. And we want to set it to event.target.value. And we want to make sure that runs every time we change the input. So on input, we'll add onChange. And again, it's camel cased, capital C. And onChange should call this.handleChange. There we go. So onChange on the input, and here's our handleChange function. All it does is update state. The effect on the page is that we can type in here again. And more than that, if we actually look at the message form component, here it is. I see state.body changes every time I type anything. Woo! Cool. So that's a step in the right direction. So knowing that whatever I type in there now lives on state, how do you think we should change handle submit?
We can, in the add message function, we could
pass an argument?
the body.
Yeah, pass the body as an argument to add message. Why not? So what would I put in parentheses here? Yeah, this.state.body, whatever's typed in there. So add message isn't written to accept that yet, but we can do that. So here's my message form component, pasting it in Slack. So here's chat.js, here's add message. Let's just make it accept an argument. The argument is the body of the message. So add an argument called body. And then instead of hard coding the body here, let's just take that body argument. Does it work? Who has a job that they like? What's your job? I, for one, enjoy my job as a movie theater manager. And it says it's Stephanie, but whatever. She'd like it too if that's what she did. Okay, so you saw what I changed? In add message, I put body inside the parentheses now, and I put body::body down here. In chat.js, right. So we passed the argument. Now we need to actually accept that argument and do something with it. Make sure you're saved. So we changed 2 files, right? Over in message form, we changed handle submit so that it passes this state.body as an argument to this .props add message. And in chat, we changed add message so that it accepts that argument and puts it here. So I'm going to copy and paste my chat.js.
So on handle submit, in this props.message or .add message inside the parentheses, you have this .state.body.
Right. So both of those components are in Slack now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. You're always about one step ahead with your questions. That's the next thing we're going to do is kind of fake that. We're going to fake that. We'll get to the real thing eventually. We're going to make so many components your eyes will bleed. All right. So we got this. See what's going on here?
Are we still at the point where we text in the text box and then once we enter, the text is still in the text box?
Yes, we have not cleared out the text box yet. So, okay. One other trick I want to show you. A little shorthand that we have in ES6. In an object literal, it's very common to set a key equal to a variable with the same name. There's a shorthand in ES6. You can just, instead of saying body::body, you can just say body. Instead of messages::messages, you can just say messages. To add a key to an object literal where the value is in a variable that has the same name as the key, you can just put that key name. No colon necessary, no value necessary. It just knows. So up here I could say const user equals all this. And then instead of saying user::user, I could just say user. So just know when we use the shorthand that is short for user. body. That's what it really means, but we're allowed to abbreviate that. Which makes our set states look really nice most of the time. Now I think I accidentally deleted a parenthesis. Yeah. Let's make sure I didn't just break it. Who else likes a job? I saw some more hands. Yeah, what's your job? Uh-huh. Dana. At Dana. You should try selling donuts. Do we like donuts like that, or do we like fancy? Spell it.
We use ... so like fancy.
Cool. It says it's Stephanie still, but whatever. I'm sure she'd like selling donuts too.
What else do you have to change other than deleting like the user stuff? Like,
What now?
how did you get that to work?
So that was because I passed in body as an argument.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So let's see here. Add messages via a controlled form. That's a new trick we learned about. Controlled components. Just letting our state be our guide.